Hi everybody. This video is going to be different for me because I'm going to talk a bit about my own twin flame journey as me. I have not really gone into it much other than as the character Angelique, and I have been very careful to change details. And I am still not going to be infringing on my twin flame by revealing things about him because he doesn't acknowledge the spiritual connection and we don't talk. And I feel he has a right to privacy. So this is all about me and from my side of it. And let me tell you the reason I'm doing this. It's actually encouraging you to do the same. Not on video necessarily, but for yourself. Because I think that most of us are so good about nailing ourselves about how we haven't done this or we haven't accomplished that, or we're still waiting on this or that, and what have we done to mess things up? And we forget to look at our journey to make note of how we've grown. Lionsgate portal is opening up in just a couple of hours, and I have personally just completed a cycle that has included a lot of hardship and suffering, honestly, and karma to work through. It's been a tough few years, and I feel that this cycle is finally ending. So many things have changed for me. I think I'm starting something new here. And so it seemed like a good time to kind of review how far I've come, because if you watch my videos, I'm freely sharing about my gaffes and the ways I screw up that lead to growing, but I haven't really tied it in to the catalyst, which is my twin flame. I give him full credit for teaching me. Now, he won't watch this, but if he did, he'd probably be very surprised that I would refer to him as the teacher. But this seems to be a mirroring in this respect also. We're teaching each other. So the video will be titled something about twin flame triggers and timing, because things are starting to make sense now. So much of the journey thus far has been frustrating and confusing, and so to finally have some clarity about why it's taken this long, why it's gone the way it has, is rewarding to me. I still don't know where it's going to go, if anywhere, but it's making sense to me with my own personal growth. Just the other night, something really big finally revealed itself to me that I think has put so much on hold, because for several months I've been getting the message that there's something I'm missing. There's something I'm not seeing that's going to make a difference. And by golly, it did. I want to make note of the ways I have been triggered and the ways I have been grown, in the hopes that you will take a look at your own journey to see those same things and really to be proud of yourself for how far you've come, because until we actually sit down and take the time to make note of what has changed in that positive direction, we tend to just concentrate on all the chaos and all the things that have gone wrong. It's time to look at things differently, to give ourselves credit for what we've accomplished, the crap we've unloaded, and the ways we have become better people because of the triggers and the mirroring. There's so much to this that is amazing if we just take the time to chart the progress, I guess you would say. Now, I can't give you things from my twin's perspective. I hope that someday we will have healed things to the point that we can sit down and say, okay, now, when I was here, what was happening with you? I would love to know how this all meshed together, because so much of my particular journey has been in separation, if not officially, as in being ghosted, and really not talking other than maybe one terse remark every 6 months, something like that. I have been in the dark about what's been going on with him. I would be so fascinated to know that when this happened, what were you thinking? What were you feeling? What was happening in your life? You know, someday I'm hoping that'll happen. When I look back at how I was when I first met this man that is my twin soul, I could be embarrassed, really. I'm not the same person. I was so thrown by the magnetic pull, and that I could have been gifted, I guess you would say, such a special thing in my life, that I was knee-deep, which was an odd thing for me, honestly, because I've always been very independent, and usually I'm the one that's leaned on. It's usually people that need me. Anyway, it's almost as if I could look where I started on my videos with this channel, because this channel started because of the triggers and the things I was having to work through because of my twin, and see how I have progressed. Now, you're not going to have that necessarily, but take that kind of trip. Go back to the start, see how you were, see how you reacted, and then compare it to now. I'll bet you're not the same person either. That is the idea of this whole thing, after all. We are supposed to be getting rid of what doesn't serve us and becoming better versions without those things from our past that have kept us small. That's the way I look at it, because when I look back, I kept myself so small. I remember trying so hard to think about how I could present myself to be acceptable to this man, which is not me if I'm having to work that hard. Anyway, this may be a hard one for me to track, and tracking is always a bit of a challenge, so we'll see. Let me just give you a little bit of background, just for me. If you do research, if you are a twin flame and you have read about it, and you can't rely on everything, unfortunately, this has become a moneymaker for many, and there's a lot of falsehoods being spread around. But if you have come upon reliable sources, you know that oftentimes there are huge differences between you and your twin. In my case, I would say the two biggest are an age difference, and I'm not talking about a tiny age difference. I'm talking about a huge freaking age difference. And also a difference in spirituality or religious beliefs. These are things that not only we might have a problem with personally, but that if presented to the public, to society, there would be a lot of judgment. Family, friends, even strangers. So these are things that the twins have to figure out how to work through, maybe not resolve, but compromise on. And then if they can get there, there's a point it becomes known by more people, and then you have to deal with whether you're going to cave under the scrutiny and the judgment and the criticism and the interference of family and friends and society who really don't get it. And if you're watching this and you don't have a twin, you may not get it, because there is nothing like this. There is nothing I have ever experienced in my life like this. And I guess I should add, there's also a very big lifestyle difference between me and my twin. There's a lot to work through. But you know, I have a feeling that we are both very advanced souls. And I think we were just overachievers. We picked a lot to have to deal with. And I really don't have any doubt that eventually we'll figure it out in this life. Now, I say that not wanting it to take forever because I'm not young. You know, part of what I've had to deal with is that age difference and just age in itself. You know, dealing with the losing attractiveness fear as you get older. More importantly, the fear of finally getting something right and then croaking. I mean, you know, it's not like I'm on my deathbed and I've been told I'm going to live a very long life. But, you know, I do feel this pressure of timing, you know. If this is going to be good shit, you know, I don't want to wait forever. I want to have some time to enjoy it. So these are things I've had to deal with because of my age. The spirituality, you know, I was raised to be religious. And there came a point before I became spiritual that I knew that organized religion was not for me. The phoniness in my perception and the hypocrisy just didn't sit well with me. So there was a good long time I just chose not to engage in any kind of organized religion, though I still held on to many of the beliefs. Then when you become spiritual and you start looking at it differently, there's a lot that doesn't mesh. And so I can see how, you know, for the twins that have that religious spirituality gap to try to bridge, there is so much that can go wrong if you can't find some way to say, you know what, I don't have any problem if you believe what you believe. As long as you allow me to believe what I believe, let's just agree to disagree. I think that works with pretty much anyone that has strong beliefs that are different from ours. That's all we have to say. We don't have to debate. We don't have to try to win them over to our way of thinking. We just say, let's agree to disagree. You let me be me, I'll let you be you. We'll find a way. Anyway, just to tell you some of the major differences that I have dealt with. Now I wanted to share the triggers and the ways I've grown. It is, however, irritating to have that heart bouncing up, and I should have remembered that from one of my other videos, but I didn't. Let's see if I can move to the middle. Sorry, you're gonna hear a chair screeching across the floor. Okay, better. Now, if it chases me, you'll see some irritation, but I think I might be safe here. So I'm gonna grab my phone because I've made some notes about what I have learned and how I credit this whole thing for that. Oh, you know, one thing of interest, because you're listening to me ramble, I might as well share something interesting. You know, I did die on the table in my first brain surgery, and there was a big effort to bring me back, and of course here I am, so it worked. But I don't have absolute recall of what happened. I just have some pretty good knowing, and I believe that there was a meeting of sorts where I was given the choice. Do I want to keep moving on to the afterlife, or do I want to go back? And I do believe that it was offered in this choice that I would be going back to meet my divine counterpart, and that together we would have a chance to impact the world in some way. And I'm sure I'm still not sure how that would be. I don't think it's just through raising our vibration, but you know, if you do manage this, that is one way that you positively affect the world. Your high vibration, that unconditional love, that special connection spreads. You know, it's good shit. You're doing your part just by finding that place of love with each other. But you know, I do think there's a joint mission that may be specific, along with each of us having our own separate life path or mission. I don't have this all written down as proof. I'm just telling you what I believe. But I do think I came back for this, because I went into that first surgery just wanting that damn intruder out of my head, and I really didn't care if I lived or died at that point. It had become so disturbing, such a challenge to deal with all the changes in my life because of it. And so I think this was my inspiration. This is why I came back. Okay, dog is in, door is closed, so he can't be doing the barking thing again. And oh, I see, there's a heart chasing me. Maybe I should have changed the frame. Anyway, so just some of the ways that the growth has occurred for me, and think about how it might have occurred for you. So, patience. I have never been a patient person. I'm very impatient, especially with myself. I have been an immediate gratification kind of person. Never in my wildest dreams would I have ever thought that I could still be patiently waiting 2 years and 8 months after meeting my twin without, by the way, any encouragement, really. This is me stubbornly holding on, which I know is, ooh, against the rules. Yeah, you know, that letting go part has been difficult for me. I do have something to add about that, but let me just stick with patience. Never would I have thought that I could have learned to be patient. And look at this, I'm managing it. So, thank you, twin. Not that he's watching, I'm just saying. I do. Maybe I shouldn't be giving him the credit because, you know, this does all come down to divine timing. I still don't understand exactly how it works, these triggers, because I know I don't intentionally set out to trigger him. I doubt that he intentionally sets out to trigger me. It's like the divine is laying out all this stuff for us to see how we negotiate it, and the timing really is not mine or his, it's theirs. So maybe I shouldn't say thank you, twin. I should say thank you, divine. I still like being patient, but I've gotten better. I don't think anyone is ever going to describe me as a patient person, but I consider this a win. I've gotten way better. Let's see. Yes. Perseverance. I have a bit of ADHD. If I start something, I don't always stick with it. Okay, that's an understatement. I probably have 4 projects going on at the same time, craft-wise. Whether I get back to the first one and finish it is very questionable. I get bored easily unless I'm extremely passionate about something. Oh, if I'm extremely passionate about something, I can go and go and go and go. But if it's just, something to occupy my time and I'm not that much into it, chances are it will fall by the wayside. It will never be completed. Now, I'm not saying I'm the same way with people necessarily, but in the way that this connection has been tested, I am amazed that I have hung in here, because my pattern would have been, oh fuck, this isn't going very well. I don't want to put any more effort into this. It is a testament to, again, I'm just going to say it, the love here, that I'm still persevering. That's the only way I can explain it. This is why I can't easily give up on this, because I don't understand how you can love someone that you barely know with so much time and separation, but it's there. And that's what has kept me persevering. Weird stuff, isn't it? Look, the heart followed me. How rude is that? Okay, so if I go over here, let's see. Okay, now we're just gonna fuck with the heart, because how rude is that? Oh wait, okay, all right. Look at that, it pointed at me and started chasing me. Really rude. Okay, my phone is starting to dim, so. Instincts. I was gaslighted when I was a child. I have a lot of doubt about my own judgment and instincts. And I started watching YouTube videos when I didn't know what the hell was going on with him, because I didn't trust what I was feeling might be happening. I have learned Spirit fucks with me with those readings. One will be saying this, another one will be saying that, and then there's a third one that says something entirely different. They have forced me into trusting my own instincts about what I think is going on. They have forced me into trusting my input from them, because even though I am fully capable of talking to my spiritual team, I often will say, if that's true. Now, I have to say, I'm not doubting you. I'm doubting my ability to get it right. So I have learned to trust my instincts and my information. I'm just now starting to feel confident enough to share my mediumship skills with people without second guessing everything. And I'm grateful for that. because I see that as very valid and special work, and I'm honored to be able to do it. But when you don't trust yourself, you don't venture out, you don't want to look like a fool. And so learning to trust my instincts and my feelings about things has been really nice. Do I really want to mess with these hearts? I really don't. I'm going to give it one more chance, just because at this point you're probably a little entertained. Let's watch that heart chase her and see how pissed off she gets. Right? Let me scoop. Back here. Okay, we'll see. We'll see how aggressive these little hearts are. So, insecurities. You know, I have had to overcome a lot of them, but I still have some pretty big ones. I will say I can't chalk them off the list, but I've gotten better. Because, you know, in some of my first conversations when we were exploring things, I literally said, I don't know, you know, I have this flaw, this flaw, this flaw, this flaw, this flaw. I don't know if you could deal with that. I mean, it was like when someone comes to your house and you say, oh, please ignore the dust bunnies under that table and under the couch and over there. It's like, would they even notice if you didn't point it out? But here I was, laying out this laundry list of all the things wrong with me, because that was my focus. Everything that was wrong with me. So I'm getting a little better about my insecurities, but I'm still not all that far. Oh, let me give myself credit. I don't know. I'm farther. Definitely have made improvements. Let's just leave it there. Self-worth, though. Oh my God, I had none. You know, my mother made it her goal in life, if I started to get some confidence, to knock it right out of me. And I can say that with the additional evidence of her crashing my first medium session and saying that she was single-handedly responsible for me not seeing my own value. And the triggering because of some of the interactions with my twin finally got my righteous indignation going, where I went, wait a minute, why doesn't he see that I have something to offer? It took that. See how important that trigger was? It took someone this important to me not appearing to see my value to make me say, it's here, I know it is. Well, when you start seeing your own value, you see how you've been treating yourself, and then you realize, well, why would they see my value? I'm always talking down to myself. I don't see it myself. How do I expect someone else to see it? How do I expect someone else to treat me with respect if I'm not respecting myself? See, that's how all these triggers work. They really bring some good stuff if you're willing to face it. Okay, neighbors are out again. I thought I had a window here, but looks like they're back. So, I can't say that as a normally shy person, before this channel and spirit forcing me to become less shy, I can't say that I really am all that confident in a lot of areas. But by forming this channel and sharing the things that I was dealing with, having been triggered and deciding to work on them and then reaching my aha moments, I have learned to be confident about sharing my truth. Always being upfront about, this is my truth, you don't have to take it on as yours. I'm just saying, it may be useful to someone. That's the whole way this channel has worked for me. I'm just laying it out there. There aren't that many people that come by, but there could be that one person that it makes sense to. And so I have become able to share my truth, to let my voice be heard. And you know, that makes me closer to being authentic, which is really my whole end goal. I want to be authentic. I want to figure out, who am I really? When I take away all these layers of artifice and am willing to take off the masks, who am I really? And am I willing to share that with the world? Because that's all about, you know, sharing your light. Okay. I already talked about the societal judgment. I have grown in that I used to really care if people liked me, if people approved of me. Maybe that's just an age thing, but I think it comes along with the growth. You know, you realize it really doesn't matter, because that's their issue, that's their trip. Just as abuse is the issue of the person that abuses. The victims tend to take it on, but it's really not theirs. You know, we all act from our wounds. The people that are judging are acting from their own. You know, usually if people have to see themselves as superior to others, it's because they're insecure. You know, those things come from fear. So I don't care so much anymore. Unfortunately, I still care maybe too much about the approval of my twin. You know, I've made progress. I'm not saying I'm perfect, people, far from it. But, you know, I've gotten better. The authenticity, yes. I've been able to learn that it's okay to be different. It's okay to not fit inside the box of everyone else. It's okay to be weird. I mean, so many of my videos now are telling people, who cares if you are being perceived as weird? Your uniqueness is amazing. Embrace it. So, yeah, I have been able to get closer to my authentic self. I still think I'm not sure who she is exactly, but I'm closer. Letting go. Well, I told you I kind of suck at this, but I did make some progress, I guess. Because before, I was thinking the only way I can let go is just to shut down my emotions, is to kill the love. That's the only way I thought I could let go. And the other day I realized, you know I'm supposed to release my attachment to the outcome. I know that as much as I want this to be healed between us, it may not happen. And I came around to the idea that I can accept that I have no control over where this is going to go. But I can let go in that way without stopping the unconditional love. Because, that's been a big deal. I never would have thought I could get there. In many respects, I have figured this out. At least in small part, I'm sure. There's a long way to go still, but as far as I've managed, that's pretty cool. You don't have to quit loving him to let go a little. I know I've held on too tight. And there's another one of my points. I never knew I was such a control freak. And I figured that out a little too. I think the reason we feel like we have to be in control is because many of us had situations when we were young where we had no control at all. None. Things happened to us that were not pretty. We literally were helpless, defenseless. And so as we've gotten older, we feel like we have to maintain control so that we don't ever have to be in that place again. And the things that smack of not having control put us back in that vulnerable place. And that's been where I've been. You know, that's where this has led me to. That vulnerable place. And realizing I'm trying to control this because I don't like being here. I don't like feeling this again. But, you know, I've had to start to recognize, oh, wait a minute. Isn't that just a little bit controlling? Do we really want to do that? Can we back up the bus and see a different way of doing it? So I'm learning. You know, part of that is the mirroring. You see it coming from the other side and you have to recognize it in yourself. Well, you know, you're supposed to anyway. Now my phone just went into sleep mode, so hold on here. I am trying to speed this up because I know I talk too freaking long. I'm saving the big one for the last. Now, until I met my twin and until we had a conversation one time in messaging that totally pissed me off, and I got so angry I said I wanted to put my fists through a wall. I didn't realize that I'd been repressing anger my whole life until then. I still haven't quite worked out how to get rid of it in a healthy way. But, you know, recognizing the issue has been helpful. I can at least now say, I have a lot of anger. I don't know how to deal with it. I can at least recognize. For instance, you fucking heart, stay out of my way. That I'm angry at that heart. And the solution would be to just change the stupid frame, but you know, I want to get this done, so I'm not keeping you here for 3 freaking hours. So that was quite a gift from the triggering to discover I didn't allow myself to be truly angry because there'd been such bad repercussions to even approach it when I was young. That's been a good thing to learn. I should just dance with this. Maybe if I did this, I'd confuse the heart. And I would be like, wait a minute, are we dancing? Is she boxing? What do they call that in boxing? There's something about the ducking and weaving, I think. Anyway, let's just confuse the heart. Okay, now anyone just tuning in now is going to wonder, what the hell? Okay, so, I never would have said I could be so much in my head either. You know, I have always been very emotion-based, so I never would have thought that I would spend so much time in my head overthinking this stuff and really leading myself on a merry chase. Imagining this could be happening, imagining that could be happening. You know, you get in your head too much, you could come up with some really creative and disturbing scenarios. Let me just tell you that. And until I take the time to indulge in a little cannabis and get to that sweet spot, I have been not able to easily be in my heart space. Thank God I get there sometimes, because when I'm there, when I'm just in my heart, I know all those doubts have been just ego and being in my head too much. I know I love this man. You know him or not, I love this man. You know? Thank God for those times. That's what's kept me going. Because when I'm in my head, it's like, oh no, how could I? How could this work? How could we do this? But when I'm in that heart space, I'm like, no. This is a big love. This is like the ultimate. I came back for this. Those obstacles can be plowed through because love will triumph over everything. It's when I get there, I can really believe. And I wish I were there more often, but you know, I can't be stoned all the time. Sorry if that's offensive. I'm grateful, because without that I would have been out of here, I can't tell you how many times when I have been in my head and imagined all these awful scenarios and taken everything personally, because that's the other thing I've gotten better at, is to say, wait a minute, this probably isn't as personal as I'm taking it. If I had stayed in that way of thinking, I would have been out of here, because, you know, that's when I say, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I've said that so much. You know, Spirit knows I'm full of shit, luckily. They haven't taken me seriously. Because, you know, in those kind of times, it's also when I go, babe me up, Scotty, I'm out of here. They know just to let me blow off my steam. They know I'll come around eventually. Oh, it's gonna dim again and I'm almost done. Okay, so, I finally learned to balance a little bit my masculine and feminine, because I have been in that masculine energy role out of necessity for much of my life, and I'm finally learning how to get into my feminine energy, which is really cool after all. You know, my twin is very much a divine masculine. I don't want to compete with him, and I would love to have someone take that role. It's been mine for much of my life, not because I wanted it, but because it was forced on me. Someone had to take it, you know. So figuring out I can actually access my divine feminine energy has been awesome. And I have learned just recently, because Jenny, the crown cat, we don't have a right to make decisions for other people thinking we know what's best. I mean, there have been times I'm like, no, I need to just take myself out of this game. I would be embarrassing for him because of the age difference, or because of the woo-woo aspects of me that his friends and family and followers won't understand. And finally I realized, wait a minute, I don't have a right to make that choice for him. He can take me out of it, but I don't take myself out of it because I'm making the decision for him that I'm not worth figuring out how to work through all that. So, thank you, Jenny, I finally have realized, you know, it's not fair of us to decide what's best for the other person, what we're going to spare them from. That's a big one. Now, here's the really big one. And I can let my phone die now, because I think I've gone through everything except this one thing that I kept getting the message. Go within. There's something you're not seeing. You need to look at this thing differently. It's going to be a game changer. Well, you know, part of the problem is, although I really like to meditate, I have this leg issue, which keeps me from meditating because I can't sit still long enough to get in the zone. So it's been a challenge because I can't get to that place to figure out what I'm not seeing. But I did find out because of a reading the other night at 3 in the morning because I couldn't sleep because of the leg stuff. And it was pointed out that I seemed to have some unresolved father issues that were affecting every single relationship I had through my whole life. Because I had been choosing to see my dad as a victim of my mother because he loved her so much. I did go to him as a kid and try to tell him what was happening. I was told he didn't want to hear about it again. I had too much imagination. It wasn't true, and shame on me. When that memory came to me, I was like, yeah, well, he just was so in love. But you know, when this came up the other night, I realized, no. Because your children need your protection. I've been giving my dad the excuse of being under her spell, or a victim same as I was. No, he let me down. He didn't protect me. And that tied in to my trust issues, because I've been seeing this as I need to learn how to trust again. With this, I have to realize I have never known how to trust. I have gone through my whole life expecting that I'm going to be screwed over or betrayed. If anyone asked me what's been my life theme, I would say betrayal in one form or another. In all my relationships, I'm getting emotional, I don't want to do this. I don't have to learn to trust again. I don't need my twin or anyone else to try to win my trust back. I have never had it because I didn't have it as a child. And so I learned to rely on myself now. I didn't trust myself thanks to, I don't need to go there. And so I had to realize I have been bringing everything on to me because I'm just always waiting. I don't trust anyone, not even myself, not the divine, even. And it just turned everything around then if I just kind of saw myself now as an infant, starting new. I'm going to learn how to trust now. I haven't had the opportunity. No one really has betrayed my trust because I couldn't invest it in anyone. I didn't believe in it. I didn't think it was possible. So I saw myself as an infant, reaching out my arms to the twin that was going to teach me that trust is possible. Now, I don't know, maybe it's not going to be my twin, I don't know. I'm looking forward to someone that's going to teach me about trust, because it was a big fucking deal to realize. I really don't know trust at all. That's why I can't even trust the divine. This is something I'm going to have to learn. I'm an infant. This is why I'm saying I'm starting something new. I'm a damn infant. Because trust is huge in any person's development. Usually it starts out you trust and then someone shows you shouldn't have, and you have to work on being able to trust again. But with me, I never had it. So instead of seeing this as a, disability, I'm just seeing this as a new adventure. I'm looking forward to learning how to trust. I'm looking forward to seeing that I don't have to always wait to be stabbed in the back or to be betrayed. I'm sure it's all tied in with love. Isn't everything really ultimately tied in with love? So I'm going to quit rambling now. Oh my God, this section alone, 30 minutes. Sorry about that. I'll see if I can edit some stuff out, but I just start going and it just keeps coming. I think I've covered everything now. I just really want to say, don't see your twin as the enemy. Don't see the triggers as a bad thing. Look at all the changes that have happened for me. I bet if you look at your own situation, you're going to see all these wonderful changes that have happened with you. Focus on the growth. Focus on the different person you are now, because I'm sure you can see it's an improvement. When we get rid of this baggage that's been keeping us small, holding us back, holding us down, the sky's the limit. If we're lucky, we eventually get to share it with this person that has gifted us with all the growth, intentionally or unintentionally. If we're lucky, we get there. But if not, it's still a damn good thing. So celebrate yourself, celebrate your growth, celebrate your twin flame. Because if you're like me, without that catalyst, you'd still be stuck back there. I wouldn't go back for $1 million. And I'm excited to see where I'm going now. Alright guys, sorry about the rambling, but I hope you got something useful out of this. And I think I had a little success with those pesky hearts.